As I go to audio shows across the land, I'm noticing a trend: the demand for small footprint, all-in-one products. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today from Eversolo, the Eversolo Play. Does it do it all? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Bob, and you, my friends, are back in the United States of Analog. How you doing out there? I'm doing great. Yeah, I feel good. Thank you for asking. Please let me know where you're watching from. It always makes me smile to know as I imagine going to the marvelous places that you live. And I hope you're enjoying your audio journey there. Now, this is a video that I've been looking forward to doing and also dreading at the same time. Bob, why? Why are you dreading making a video? Well, because this is about an all-in-one component, the Eversolo Play. And all-in-one components, for those of us that make videos, can be a little bit of a challenge because it's like 5 or 6 different things at once. Now, I don't really consider myself a reviewer as much as maybe a presenter. I like to tell you the good things about a product and maybe a couple of things that you need to be wary of. But I'll never tell you what to buy. I just want to give you an overview of hi-fi components so that you, maybe after watching a few other videos, can make an informed decision. This is a very cool product, and I've had a lot of fun with it. But stick around, because as much as I like the Eversolo Play, there may be a caveat or two for you to be aware of. All right, let's get started. But where to start? Because there is so much to unpack in the Eversolo Play. Let me just say that it comes in 2 versions. It's rated at 60 watts a channel into 8 ohms and 110 watts into 4 ohms. The $6.99 version is sans CD transport. The $7.99 has a CD transport or CD player on the side. This is the $6.99 version. All right, let's check out the unit itself. It's got a great feel, a solid build, better than most of the components in this class. I'm not going to name names. I have no problem with some of the other brands, but Eversolo has really done a wonderful job with the build quality here, and I think it's going to exceed your expectations. This comes in at 6.5 pounds or so, and approximately 3 inches tall, 9x9 footprint. The bottom of the unit is a heat sink. You have rubberized feet in each corner. On the front is a 5.5-inch display. This thing is one of the stars of the show. We'll get into it a little bit more soon, but yeah, 5.5 inches, touchscreen display, vivid. The contrast is great, fully adjustable in the app. There's also a knob here that has an RGB ring light around it. And you can change the colors, or you can let the light do its own thing depending on the music genre you're playing. This knob here is good for selecting things and also for turning the unit on and off. Let's go to the back. There's not a square inch that is left untapped here. You've got the on-off switch, trigger in, ARC. You've got ARC to connect your television, an optical in, coax in, and RCA ins, phono ins, and also a ground for your turntable. There's a LAN connection. There's 2 USB ports. One, I believe, is input so that you can connect a music storage device, and then there's a USB audio out, sub out, which is very welcomed in this class of component. I've run into so many Fun-Fi components that don't have a sub out, and I don't know why. I'm assuming you have to follow the money and it's a cost thing, but you got the sub out here, and you have coax out if you want to connect this to a better DAC. And it looks like some pretty good binding posts here for a pair of speakers. Also a nice touch, the Eversolo logo in relief here. Again, very good feel. Not that you're going to be holding this a lot, but man, when you get your hands on this, I think you're going to be delightfully surprised. Again, we're talking at a starting point of about $6.99. I know that's a lot for some, but for what you're getting, the value you're getting inside of here with a phono preamp with a decent DAC. In fact, the DAC is a AKM 4493 SEQ. Hey, that's pretty good coming off the top of my head. It's in a lot of components, but this particular version is identified as having velvet sound, not to be confused with the Velvet Fog. That's Mel Torme. Don't ask me how I know that, but this is the Velvet sound. So lower harmonic distortion, lower noise, smoother sound, less digital. At least that's the claim. Pure Path Ultra HD is how they describe the proprietary amplification that's inside of here. Yeah, there's no mention of a TI chip at all. It's proprietary. Only Eversolo knows what's inside. But, you're talking about 60 watts per channel, Class D into 8, 110 into 4. Is it enough power? We'll have to talk about that in a little while as well. All right, look, let's be honest here. I'm going to have to grab my notes to go through more. There is so much to unpack here, and if I was to do this from memory, we would be here, or I would be here shooting all day. So please forgive me if I lose eye contact with you occasionally, because I want to make sure I get this right. I'm going to miss some stuff. There's so much here, and I haven't even got to the app yet and all the functionality that this has. I want to try to convey to you as much information as I can. When it comes to format support, there's a lot here. DSD, PCM, FLAC. Is it APE or APE? I'm not sure. I don't use that. And Wave, DSD 512, and you have 768 kilohertz, 32-bit PCM. So this is capable of master studio grade quality reproduction. Now there's a lot of technical information in the nomenclature about bit rates and modulation and all that stuff that doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but may mean something to you guys. I'm music first, I'm sound first, but I don't necessarily have to know how it's doing it. I'm telling you, it does it very well here. But for further information, I'll defer you to the Eversolo site. But the things that are important to me here with the Eversolo Play is just the sheer functionality. If you have a small room, a bedroom, a bar like I have, an office, this is a fantastic component. And I think that's what it's aimed for. It's 60 watts, Class D. I think that's what this is aimed for. But don't discount it in a small living room with a television or as a 2-channel music system with a subwoofer. Don't sleep on this, because the quality of this is just outstanding. And again, one of the stars of the show is this screen and its functionality, because there's a wide array of visuals that you can program. There's VU meters, there's LED spectrum lights. I don't want to call it a spectrum analyzer because I'm not sure it's analyzing, but the LEDs that bounce up and down. And while from your seating position, you probably won't be able to read the details of the music and see the album art that clearly, you're certainly going to enjoy the visual aspect of those meters and those LEDs, just kind of drawing you into the music a little bit more. And the 5.5-inch screen, does something that some of the other players in this class just don't do. It's just a better size. All right, the Play integrates with Tidal Connect and Qobuz Connect. Those are probably two of the most popular. I use Qobuz. Amazon Music is in the mix. TuneIn Radio. And then things I don't have any experience with. Adagio, Presto Music, KK Box, Radio Paradise, Deezer I've heard of, Rune Ready, and JPlay Certified. I'm not going to get into JPlay in this video, but it's another one of those paid apps, which I'm not sure you absolutely need to get the most out of this system, but it's there. You can also build a multi-room system around the Play. My multi-room system is I unplug it and carry it around. Here you can see it in my little gym room that I have upstairs. But if you're more technically inclined than me, you can create multi-room throughout your home. There's a phono preamp inside. We're going to assume that that's going to be a pretty budget phono preamp at this price point. It handles moving magnet and moving coil and can get the job done with most turntables. But for more expensive rigs, you may want for more. I successfully connected this U-Turn Orbit Basic. I had fun playing music. I can't say it was the most detailed experience I've ever had, but that's going to be partly because of the level of the turntable I was using and the cartridge. I think some audiophiles will be able to squeeze more performance out of this using the various filtering and tone controls and room correction. And I probably should speak to that because the app is relatively expansive. And there's going to be a learning curve here for many people. It's kind of a dichotomy. You're getting something that's an all-in-one. You buy a device like this for convenience, but then you get into the app and there's just all kinds of stuff, from fur filtering to room correction, and that's going to be over the heads of some of the market that this is aimed at. But it can also be a lot of fun. As you can see here, there's so many adjustments that you can make, not just technically, but also in the fun department, in the visual department, with the vintage VU meters and the LED lights. There's basic room correction, seems to be proprietary. It just takes a few seconds to do, and you may find it to be helpful in your room. I like the app a lot, but be prepared to spend some time with it to get maximum enjoyment. Now, speaking of maximum enjoyment, I got the most enjoyment streaming and playing CDs. But Bob, you got the version without the CD player. I know. I mean, all you need is a CD transport, which you can connect digitally, and I've seen some for as low as like $20. But I used my Goodwill find, the Sony Blu-ray player, which includes SACD. And I think I got this for like $20, $25, maybe even less at a Goodwill store. I just dusted it off, polished it up a little bit, and this thing has been serving me for years. And I really enjoyed the CD playing experience on this. Now, if you have a choice and you have the cash, I would spend the extra $100 and get the built-in CD player simply for convenience and space saving. But with this play, it's very easy to connect any of the devices you have, from music storage drives to turntables, CD players, CD transports. It's really easy to enjoy all of your music. All right, let's talk about the sound for a moment. And let me preface it by saying you probably don't buy a $695 device thinking that you're going to get the ultimate in sound, particularly with an all-in-one. You're paying for the convenience. That's my opinion anyway. Not to say that the sound is bad at all with the Eversolo Play. It is not. In fact, when streaming and playing CDs, I found the sound to be very engaging, very lively, great center imaging, very nice sound field, and an overall enjoyable experience. Vinyl was a little bit of another story, mainly because of the cartridge I have on this turntable right now. A phono stage is going to be kind of minimal. Again, it's something that's there for your convenience. But the great news here is you can add your own phono stage. Now, when it comes to power, I wish there was a little more power at my disposal. I was able to coax a little more volume out of the system by playing around with the equalization and boosting the levels up a little bit. Not to worry though, I think this is going to be fine for most people. Sometimes though, I just want to play Led Zeppelin at like ear-crushing levels. Again, those are my opinions. Maybe I'm making a little too much about the power thing, but I know some people are going to want more. I have a Technics amplifier, a digital amplifier upstairs that only has 70 watts, and I've never complained about that. This is only 10 watts less. Granted, that's a $1,500 amplifier. Again, think about this for the features, for the convenience, for the value. So price, convenience, size, flexibility, great build quality. It's all here. If you're looking for an all-in-one solution, what more could you ask for? Well, maybe, just maybe, a little more power. Now, I didn't have any problem using the Play in this, I would call it smallish room, but you're going to get the best results and the best impact if you can match this, pair this with high sensitivity speakers. Speakers with sensitivity over 85 dB, but maybe even closer to 90 dB. The high 80s, 90 dB, you're going to get maximum enjoyment with the Play. 60 watts, Class D, not a lot to play with. Yes, it can drive just about anything. I drove RP600Ms with a pretty high efficiency, but the 86 dB rated XB2s from Emotiva did just great with the Play. In fact, those were my favorite speakers to use in this room. So more sensitivity, more rock and roll, more fun. Don't let the 60 watts scare you, but remember there's no pre-out with the Play. So it's not going to be possible to add an external amplifier. Well, I guess you could take the coax out and go into a DAC and then go into a preamp and then go into an amplifier, but then that would render this as simply a streamer. And if you had $699 for just a streamer, then listen, it would get complicated. Just make sure the Eversolo Play, power-wise, is going to fit your needs. All right, did I miss some stuff? Sure. Are some of the technical features here above my pay grade? Sure. Did I have a lot of fun with the Eversolo Play anyway? Yes, I did, and I think most of you will too. This is not a paid endorsement. I was invited to test this review unit from Eversolo, and I'm glad I got to live with it for a couple of months. And I'm thinking of keeping it. Maybe it will inspire me to go back up into my gym room more often and work out. Well, I hope at least I've given you an impression of what the Eversolo Play is about. Thanks for being here. If you watched for this long, I guess you like this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see another video, not to worry, the geniuses at YouTube have already picked another video for you to watch, and it's right here. Well, it's going to pop up here at any second, so just click on it. I'll see you next time with maybe a unit that does fewer things at one time. Thanks for being in the United States of Analog. Cheers.